Hi everyone, we're Sarah and Kate, and before this trip I'd actually never been on a cruise before. Sarah usually does most of the filming for our channel, so this felt like a perfect opportunity to see if I'd enjoy a longer cruise in the future. We'd both been really curious to see how Royal Caribbean compared to Sarah's previous experiences with P&O. So we looked for something short, affordable, where I hopefully wouldn't be seasick, and found this 2-day mini cruise with Royal Caribbean from Southampton to France for £424. 30 minutes before our boarding time, we drove to the port and headed to our pre-booked parking, which cost us £37.50. We definitely recommend booking this early as spaces sell quickly. We were directed to park our car in the next spot, and then staff were there with minivans to take our luggage to the ship, while we took a short walk to the terminal with our backpacks. I've seen plenty of videos and pictures of cruise ships when editing our Norwegian fjords and Northern Europe cruise videos, but it's nothing compared to seeing the size of the cruise ship in person. Anthem of the Seas is huge, and it has a capacity of up to 4,905 passengers and 1,500 crew. Outside the terminal there was a small coffee stand, and as the terminal was quiet, we went to check in, which took about 5 minutes, showing our passports, boarding pass and printouts of our insurance, before we were directed to board on deck 3. We showed our passports and boarding passes again at the desk before we could enter the ship, and were told to report to our muster station, which was in the theatre, located at the front of the ship. Since it was only 2 nights and I wanted to try all the frozen mocktails, we purchased the mid-range refreshment package for £17 a day each. This included the freestyle machines, coffee, tea, fresh squeezed juice, bottled still and sparkling water, non-alcoholic cocktails and milkshakes at Johnny Rockets. We picked up our cups from the Brass and Bock English pub in the main atrium. We didn't have our cards as our cabin wouldn't be ready until 3 p.m. So just had to show our boarding pass and we were ready to go. You can ask to refill this cup at any of the bars or use the freestyle machines. For this cruise, they were filled with American soda, which tends to be less fizzy than the UK versions, but much more sugary and practically fluorescent. Boarding early and heading almost straight to the buffet meant it was still quite quiet, since most of the passengers were still boarding. Some passengers had remained on the ship since the Caribbean and were intending to stay on until they reached the Norwegian fjords, which was where the ship was due after our cruise. The food at the buffet was very good, and there was a great selection across the different islands. I made the most of the fruit and particularly enjoyed the pineapples, which were incredible. If there was anything you fancied, from pasta, meats, salad, curries, pizza, pastries, you could find it here. There were fruit juices and cordials which were changed out often, and there was tea, coffee and water. Honestly, if you stuck to these, you could get away with not having a drinks package at all. Next time, if I was on a longer cruise, we wouldn't get the drinks package and just bring our own bottles to refill with water and use a squash for some flavour. Any extra drinks like mocktails or milkshakes are charged to your cruise card, and you can see your bill on the TV in your room before it's charged to your credit card on file at the end of the trip. After lunch, we decided to explore the ship a bit more, and if you plan on swimming first, definitely pack your swimsuits in your backpacks. There are 3 pools on board, an outside pool on the main deck with a kids area, whirlpool and several hot tubs. There's a large outdoor screen for film nights and entertainment. Next is an indoor pool with more hot tubs and a bar. Finally is the solarium, which is the adults only area and has a pool, hot tubs, sunbeds, a bar and a buffet area. This was our favourite spot and we spent a lot of time here. If you want to enjoy the outside or main indoor pool, I'd recommend swimming early when the pool opens, as later in the day it can get very busy and the water turns quite cloudy from all the sunscreen. The weather was hot, the sea was calm, and by now everyone had boarded. There were lots of people making the most of their drinks packages. The sun had already left its mark on several very pink guests, and the sail away party at the main outdoor pool was just getting warmed up. This area was packed, and I know this looks like a lot of people and this may put some of you off a cruise. I definitely felt a bit overwhelmed, but the good thing is the ship is huge and you don't have to stick around for something you don't think you'll enjoy. So I grabbed a milkshake from Johnny Rockets, Sarah picked up a soft serve ice cream, and we headed inside to the adults only area for a frozen strawberry daiquiri mocktail and a swim. The menus are very clear on what is included in the drinks package, so to get our money back, we just needed to have a couple of frozen mocktails per day and a drink or two with dinner. It was much more relaxed in the solarium, and with the weather being so nice, we had a great view as we left Southampton. At 3 p.m, our room was ready. We had booked a standard balcony cabin, which was placed right at the front of the ship, so we were definitely going to get our steps in over the weekend on board. Our luggage had been placed at the start of the corridor, so we picked that up, opened our cruise cards, which were in an envelope by the door, and went to check out our room. It was a nice size with a good amount of storage, especially if you're going to be staying longer than the 2 nights we were on board. The cabin had American plugs, so we brought our own adapters for our electronics. Tea and coffee were ready on the side, the menus in the drawers were for ordering room service, breakfast in the morning, or crates of water. You could then hang these on the door for the staff to pick up, and it would be delivered in the morning. The fridge was a good size, but don't expect your water or drinks to be ice cold. You'll have to order a bucket of ice from your cabin steward for that. You'll meet them at some point on your first day when they introduce themselves to you. The ice bucket is free, and you can specify what time you want it delivered each day. On the TV, you can watch the safety videos and live TV. Check out the room service menu, the weather, the map to see where you are, and check your bill. There were films available to watch, however, this was an extra charge and a notable difference from P&O, which do have a selection of free films on the TVs. Our balcony was a nice size and we could both sit outside comfortably, have a drink, and listen to the waves. The balconies didn't overlook any decks like those on Iona, so there wasn't much people watching going on. The bathroom had a toilet, sink, and corner shower with good water pressure. And after unpacking and a quick nap, we went to explore some more. There's a lot of places to eat on board, and Sorrento's pizza had been hyped up quite a lot, but it didn't disappoint. It's open late, so if you're peckish before bed, you can head down to the atrium and grab a slice. There were lots of options, but the pepperoni was so good and definitely our favourite. When it was busy, you could have as much as you liked, and the queue went down quickly as they were constantly restocking with fresh pizza. There was a freestyle machine in the corner if you wanted a soda refill too. In the cafe next door, we picked up some mini rolls and desserts for free. After this, we went for a walk around the ship, had another mocktail, and did some people watching on the upper decks. Eventually, it was time for dinner. Now, when booking the cruise, we chose my time dining, where unlike traditional dining, where a time is assigned to you, we could eat in the main dining room anytime during dinner hours. When we got there, it was only a 5-minute wait to be seated, and the staff was so lovely. They couldn't do enough for you and were very happy to have a chat. Looking at the menu, there were a couple of options per course. I was still quite full from snacking earlier, so had a starter and dessert, while Sarah had a main and dessert. We had the scallop gratin, which was swimming in garlic butter, and the surf and turf, which was very good. For dessert, I had a crumble with custard, which was really nice, and Sarah had the creme brulee, which was sadly overcooked and tasted a bit scrambled. Anthem of the Seas is one of the older ships from Royal Caribbean, and the main dining room decoration and layout felt a bit dark and crowded. There was crushed velvet everywhere, and there was a lot of tables really packed together, so it felt like you could almost join in on your neighbour's conversation while you were eating. Leaving the main dining room and heading into the main shopping area, we could hear the English pub instantly. It was definitely the most popular venue and always seemed very busy with live music, karaoke, and quizzes. But we were full and sleepy, so wanted to head to bed. Going back to our room, we opened the doors to let in some fresh air as it had been a consistent 25 degrees all day. Expecting the fresh, clean sea air, there was an unfortunate surprise. My immediate reaction was a very loud, "Oh, gross," and I quickly closed the door. There was no way he didn't hear me. Our neighbour was smoking some very strong herbal cigarettes on the balcony next door, and the fresh sea breeze blew the smell straight into our room. I'm not usually one to complain, and I hate making a fuss, but there are designated smoking areas on the ship at the top deck, and I don't particularly want to smell it on my balcony or in my room when I'm trying to sleep. Smoking has been banned in cabins and balconies on most ships since 2012, and fires can spread very quickly, so we did call guest services on our phone. They took 10 minutes to pick up, and by the time we got through, our neighbour had finished smoking and stuck a "Do Not Disturb" sign on their door. So when a crew member visited, we were told nothing could be done, but they had made a note of our report. Eventually, we opened the doors again and aired out our smoky room before going to bed. The bed was very comfortable and we both slept really well, and I woke early to watch the sail into port. Being able to watch the sunrise on the balcony and listening to the waves was so peaceful. It was definitely one of those moments where I was like, okay, I get it. I would like to do a longer cruise. So both of us do wake up early, usually whether we want to or not, but we really didn't mind it this time because we wanted to make the most of our days on board. We went to the Windjammer buffet at 7 a.m. and I went straight for the fresh fruit, pancakes and pastries. The quality of the food at the buffet was just so good and the variety was great. You had your typical English breakfast, fruit, pastries, cereals, tea, coffee, and the waiters would bring over fruit juice to your table. Now, because this was the single port day of the 2-day trip, the buffet was quite busy. Compared to a sea day, at 7 a.m, you're probably going to be one of the few people up and about, so if you can manage it, an early breakfast is recommended. The only people who were up and awake were those who had excursions to Paris or wanted to explore the port. We didn't have anything booked ourselves as we really wanted to make the most of our time on the ship. It was going to be another very hot day at 28 degrees, so we wanted to have a swim in the main pool and grab a good sunbed before things got busy. Of course, at 7:30, some people had already set up their towels on the sunbeds. But if you leave your things longer than 30 minutes, the staff will remove your towels and belongings to the towel collection point. This is signposted and we saw it happen to a couple of people while we were waiting. If you do get a towel from the towel collection point, you don't want to lose this as there is a charge if you don't return it. Now the pool opens at 8 a.m. when the nets are removed. There was a shallow part you could sit in and then a deeper area for a swim. The water was definitely on the cooler side, but it was quite nice when the weather was so hot. We enjoyed another mocktail, did some people watching, read a book, and enjoyed the sun until the band started up around 11 a.m, when the pool started to get busy and the water started to look more like pale soup from all the sunscreen. At this point, we decided to head to the solarium. I picked our sunbeds and Sarah went to check out the buffet in the adult-only area. This was obviously smaller than the main buffet, but still really nice, and we would recommend if you want a quieter place to eat lunch. After some time in the hot tub and the pool, we went back to our room for a nap, and I ordered room service on the phone. We could order as much as we wanted for a single tray charge of £7. We had chicken tenders, chips, and a steak and cheese roll, which were all very good. Originally, we wanted to eat on the balcony, but next door was enjoying another very strong herbal cigarette. So, after making another call to guest services, we went for a walk on the running track and picked up another frozen mocktail. There were lots of activities on the top deck for those who are more on the adventurous side, like trying out the wind tunnel, surfing area, and climbing wall. Inside, there is a bumper car arena and gaming lounge. There is also the North Star, which is a glass viewing point which is lifted high into the air on a metal arm above the ship to get a nice view of the surrounding area. This had a queue since it's free to go on at ports. I'm not a big fan of heights, so I stayed away from that one and instead did a leisurely couple of laps on the track at the top. Now, I wasn't sure there was going to be one because the cruise was so short, but that night was formal night, so everyone was dressed to impress at various bars and restaurants. For us, instead of going to the main dining room for dinner, we had pre-booked Alice in Wonderland meal, which was about £50 per person. On Anthem of the Seas, this area is smaller than on other Royal Caribbean ships, and reviews said it wasn't quite as good on Anthem due to the layout, but we wanted to give it a go. Our first impressions were that we thought the theming was nice, but as it wasn't in an enclosed area, there was a lot of sound coming through, as the only thing separating us from the atrium was a metal grid and a gauzy curtain. So while we were eating, we were treated to a very enthusiastic sing-along from the English pub below. We chose a few different starters from the menu, and it was nice to get a variety of little dishes and things to try. The crispy crab cones and lobster bisque were our favourite starters, but we really wouldn't recommend the tomato water or the cold mushroom gel. The main dishes, where we chose the beef and the pork, were very tender and flavourful. We absolutely would have these again, and it was the best part of the meal for us. Unfortunately, dessert was very gelatin heavy and lacked flavour. Overall, we thought all the dishes looked great, But most, aside from the mains, were unfortunately style over substance. We don't think it's worth the £50 per person, maybe 20 if we could have just had the mains, where it would have been a 10 out of 10 meal for us. But otherwise, we wouldn't do this again or recommend it at this price. The dinner lasted around 2 hours and it was about 10 PM by the time we left. We'd been up early that morning and had an early departure time with a long drive back, so we decided to head to the cabin, pack and then get some sleep. Once again, we were hopeful for a cool breeze from the balcony, but I was instantly greeted with a face full of smoke. I hate causing a fuss, but I'm sure you can imagine it was such a strong smell and we couldn't have our balcony door open without it stinking, which was the point of booking a balcony cabin. So once again, Sarah called security, who arrived and knocked on their door. They didn't answer, obviously. The head of security and another team member came to speak to us. They both had body cams and asked if they could go onto our balcony. We said yes, and since the smell was still very strong in our cabin and on the balcony, security told us that the cleaning team would do a sweep of the room tomorrow morning at checkout to see if they left anything behind, and if they found something, they would be in contact with those guests before they disembarked. If we had been staying longer, we probably would have asked to move rooms if the smoking continued to be a problem in the cabin next door. In the morning, it was so easy to get up and out. Some people had breakfast at the buffet before leaving, but we had a long drive back and wanted to pick up the car and get driving before there was too much traffic. We would absolutely sail with Royal Caribbean again. The food was very good, the staff was so helpful and friendly, there was lots to do, and thankfully I wasn't seasick. The weekend we sailed, the water was so still, and honestly we didn't really feel the motion of the ship. Walking around inside, especially the main hall, it feels like you're in the middle of a shopping centre. It's only when you look out a window or head outside on a deck that you realise, oh, you're actually at sea. It's a very surreal feeling if you've never cruised before. The only time I felt a gentle motion of the ship was at night when I was about to go to sleep. I think if I'd had longer on board, I would have enjoyed it more, but I was quite worried about feeling seasick, so that probably had some impact on it. I didn't have the tablets, patches or bracelets as I didn't need them, but it's good to have some with you just in case. Better than being charged a crazy amount through your insurance to get them from the onboard doctor. I think the 2-day cruise was a good idea to see whether I would like being on the ship, but it's definitely not long enough to do everything or actually fully relax, because I felt like I had to really make the most of my time on board. I would have loved to try some of the other restaurants and bars and see a show or two on a longer cruise. So if you have any recommendations for your favourite ship, cruise line or itinerary, we would love to hear from you in the comments. Please like and subscribe to see more from us and check out our other cruise videos and travel vlogs here.